See this here? She's my friend.
I don't really bring this up here considering I mostly just talk about video games, but you know that anime about high school girls becoming idols that gets memed on a lot? Or at least it used to get memed on a lot. I don't actually interact with the fandom all that much. Anyway, it's actually pretty good. Between the cute and funny antics of these high school girls, the banger music and animation, and the genuinely inspiring, if occasionally a bit silly, stories about reaching your dreams and finding your own special radiance, there's a lot to love about every anime iteration of Love Live. But today, we're not here to talk about any of that, because what we will be doing is diving into a mind so diabolical that you might not be able to turn back once you've gone inside. That's right, an anime girl. Because God knows this series has those. This is Nozomi Tojo, one of the main characters of the original Love Live ensemble, Muse, which is spelled with this funny Greek letter, and she happens to be my absolute favorite character across all the series. Before you get any ideas though, I should probably preface this by saying that this won't actually be a full-on breakdown character analysis. If I were to do that, we'd be going over her personality in detail and stuff before diving deep into what makes her tick, but with this video I'm going to skip some of that and focus on one particular aspect of her character that makes her my #1 favorite and that I simply just want to talk about. We'll still be talking a little bit about her personality and stuff just to offer up some context and significance for what I'm talking about, but if you're expecting me to find some sort of deep and intricate meaning behind her washy-washy tendencies in season 1, then I'm sorry, but this video is not for you. Instead, what we'll be focusing on is my favorite episode in the show, titled My Wish. Or, for those who don't pay attention to the episode titles, the 8th episode of season 2. This episode is one of them character-focused episodes that Love Live likes to do from time to time to further flesh out each individual member, and by that I mean you're only going to get one if you're lucky. But anyway, even though My Wish also has a big role in driving the main plot forward, it does a lot to explain Nozomi's character and give context to some of her previous actions in the show. And it's that very context that I'd like to dive deep into today. And since we will be talking about an episode pretty near the end of the series, we're gonna be going into some pretty heavy spoilers, so there's your warning. Though she may seem a mischievous trickster, behind that mask beats the heart of a very lonely soul. And she will do anything to achieve a place where she can finally truly connect with others. So grab something to drink and get comfortable as we dive deep into the selfish yet also very selfless mind of Nozomi Tojo. So skimming over the details a bit because I don't want to explain the whole plot, My Wish sees Muse entering the final preliminaries for the National Idol competition, the titular Love Live. When thinking about which song to perform at the preliminaries, Nozomi suggests that all 9 of them compose an original love song together, since those are apparently many idols' bread and butter, but Muse hasn't composed a single one because they've got bozos like Honoka and Umi in charge of that stuff. From there, the episode goes on to show the 9 girls trying to get inspiration through various means and failing to come up with really anything good, yet Ellie of all people keeps insisting that they need to write a song together. But eventually, when nothing seems to work, everyone starts to opt for performing an already existing song at the preliminaries, even Nozomi, who came up with the idea in the first place. The first years also wonder about Ellie's and Nozomi's motives throughout all this, and a couple of wacky theories later, Maki decides to confront Ellie and Nozomi in order to learn the truth. Arriving at Nozomi's home, the 3 girls start talking, but Nozomi still seems strangely stubborn about revealing the real reason behind Ellie's insistence. But when she and Ellie get into a vague-ass argument, Maki decides she's had enough of the cryptic bullshit and demands to know the truth. Ellie then reveals that Nozomi's had a big dream ever since Muse came together, one of all 9 of them creating a song together and taking it to Love Live. And Nozomi then expands on this by saying it didn't need to be a song as long as it was something they all created together. And this is where we get Nozomi's backstory. As a child, she had to move and switch schools a lot due to her parents' job, and as such, she never had any friends. It wasn't until she got to high school when she finally found a true friend in Ellie, but her difficulties with approaching others limited her circle to just her for the longest time. Throughout her tenure at Otonokizaka, she finds more people who hold similar feelings as her, people who can't quite reach out for their dreams, but can't help due to not being able to reach out easily herself. And that's when she finds Muse. In the first season, when Ellie and Nozomi join the group, it's revealed that not only was Nozomi the one who came up with the name Muse and suggested it to the second years, but she had been nudging each prospective member into joining the group, and in some cases even directly pushing them into it or influencing the second years into recruiting them. And while at the time the reason she gives is because her tarot cards foretold it, the backstory we're given here gives new context to her actions. So with the knowledge that she wanted to approach several people who would then join Muse, we see that Nozomi's true intention was to give these people a chance to pursue what they wanted. Give Hanayo and Nico the chance to live their dreams and become real idols, allow Rin to present herself in a more girly way, and let Maki pursue her passions in music. And hell, even giving Ellie a second chance after failing to become a ballerina. Though that depends on how you look at it, I suppose. But is that all? Did Nozomi do this simply because she wanted to let these individuals be happy and see their potential flourish? I'd argue no. I'd even say that wasn't the main reason. As Nozomi finishes explaining her motivations, she says that it's okay if they won't compose a love song together because her dream has already come true. And this scene right here, where she sees her younger self smiling at her and thinks back on a happy scene of everyone eating Hanukkah treats together, gives it all away. The real reason Nozomi helped bring Muse together was because she wanted to be a part of that group. As already established, Nozomi went most of her childhood without any friends, and while her desires aren't stated outright, she clearly isn't very happy about it. What she wanted was to create lasting connections, people that could share her joys and sorrows with, or in short, she wanted friends. And while she did find Ellie, she also wanted to approach the other girls she saw potential in. Not just in terms of stuff we already discussed, but also as candidates to befriend. And the second years forming the idol group is the perfect excuse for her. She schemes to get the other girls to join together, then joins herself under the pretense of the tarot cards telling her to do so. And while when it's listed out on paper like this, it might sound like Nozomi manipulated or even forced people to get along, that's not the case. Because again, while she may have nudged and pushed them into it, the rest of the girls all had a genuine interest in Muse, and she really did want them to fulfill their potential. She just had her own selfish desire underneath it all. Nozomi as a character resonates with me because while she puts up the front of a trickster fortune teller with an air of mystery, she's just as emotionally vulnerable as the other members of the group, as seen at the end of the episode when the entire group confronts her. Putting together all the facts we've gotten so far, Nozomi is clearly a person who doesn't like to make a big deal out of herself and can be extremely stubborn when it comes to being honest with others, most likely due to a fear of losing the connections she has finally achieved. And all of that is honestly #pretty relatable, and yet she is also genuinely kind and cares about the girls of Muse immensely. And when Maki hears the full story, her immediate response is to call everyone over with Ellie and reassure Nozomi that the rest of the group is there for her just as much she is for them. Which in and of itself is a great capping point of Maki's development as well, but since her name isn't in the title of the video, that's all secondary. Sorry, Miss Tomato Head. Last but not least, I want to mention Nozomi's English voice actor Laura Post's performance in the confrontation and backstory scene. Post's performance for the series overall is just pretty solid and nothing too special, but here she hits the smaller things so well, using Nozomi's more energetic tone when she's still trying to hide the truth.
Why don't we save that for another time? We shouldn't discuss it with company present. Whoopsie.
Then having her voice noticeably weaker when admitting it.
But we all need to do it. We don't necessarily need to write a new song. I just want all of us to create something together.
And finally built back up to her normal tone of voice as she starts to talk about Muse.
It was then that I knew I wanted to do it. My dream became to accomplish something together as 9.
And sounding almost tearing up as she says that her dream has already come true.
The greatest dream of all has already...
So in the end, whatever Nozomi's motives were in nature, everything she did for the group already created those genuine connections she craved for, her own special miracle. Whether it was for simply helping these girls shine or to finally have that group of friends, the fact is that both of those things came true for her because of her kindness and genuine desire to connect all 9 of them together. And that is the essence that makes up the selfish selflessness of Nozomi Tojo.